Saturn will die in this arc, and Oda has literally foreshadowed it in the last chapter. Of course, everyone was focused on the last panel, who destroyed a marine ship, who will join the Egghead War. Before it is revealed, I want to show you other small details and explain why I am 100% sure that Saturn will die at the end of Egghead. First, I will reveal all the hidden hints of this chapter, and then I will show you why it's important. I recommend you watch this video till the end. Let's begin. Oda always uses various techniques to foreshadow and hide things in plain sight, from chapter titles to chapter numbers, chapters, covers, and color spreads. For example, chapter 1071 is named A Hero's Offensive. Obviously, the title refers to Garp, but it could easily refer to Kuma, who was later revealed to have aspirations of being just like the hero, Nika. Chapter 1105 is titled The Height of Folly, or in Japanese, Gu no Kocho. This expression is used by Saturn to refer to Kuma, his struggle, and his deal with the devil. But there are others who the title might be referring to. Let's examine the word folly, or this character in Japanese, Gu. Gu can mean foolishness, stupidity, or silliness. It's obvious that Kuma is fool number one. Saturn has mentioned it a few times. He hates Kuma because he is a slave, he is from the Buccaneers race, and even in this chapter he called him stupid for sacrificing his life for Bonnie. The next fool should be quite obvious. It's our main character, Monkey D. Luffy. Monkey D. Luffy has been foolish from the beginning. A young man with a fool's dream of becoming the king of pirates and attaining the One Piece. He's now on the ground in Egghead, having stuffed himself with food completely. Many did not like to see Luffy in such a state, while the other Straw Hats are fighting Kizaru and Saturn, but it was an important parallel which I will explain very soon. The tarot card most closely associated with Luffy is the Fool. It's not just because he acts like it, but because when you flip a part of his name, Luff, you get Fool. When Luffy fought Hawkins, Hawkins drew the Fool reversed, so Luffy is Fool number 2. Our next Fool reveals itself when you break down this Japanese character. You see, it's actually made up of 2 characters. The character below is Kokoro, meaning heart, and the first character means old world monkey. The character for folly is monkey plus heart. Our number 3 Fool is none other than Kizaru. In chapter 1104, Vegapunk asked Borsalino, "Don't you have a heart?" Will Borsalino choose to simply be a monkey, or will he choose to have a heart, be foolish, and choose the right side? Even without these Japanese characters, it's clear that since Kizaru's first appearance at Sabaody, he has been acting as a fool. Speaking of monkeys, the deity Hanuman, who takes the form of a monkey, is often connected to Luffy by other folks, but I think there will be a connection to Kizaru as well. Hanuman's most striking image is him opening up his chest to show his heart, which had the image of 2 people he held dear. Maybe this is Borsalino's fate, to betray Saturn and reveal what's really in his heart. Memories of time with Bonnie, Kuma, Vegapunk, and Sentamaru. Kizaru's unclear justice may gain some clarity at the price of his folly. Kizaru's betrayal doesn't have to be a big move. In Marineford, a simple laser from him could kill Ace or Luffy, but he chose to hit the key for Ace's handcuffs. Obviously, the real fool will be Saturn. After all, spiders have been known to show a foolishness of their own. We can even call the island of the smartest character in One Piece an island of fools. Now, why is this foreshadowing? I know most of you don't like historical stuff, but the information I'm about to show you now is very important. The Festival of Fools was a feast day celebrated by Christian churches in Europe during the Middle Ages. During the feast, participants would elect either a false bishop or a false pope. This ritual would also be parodied, and higher and lower level class people would change places. The meaning of the festival, beyond serving as a chance for joy like any other holiday, was to show that those with power and wealth would eventually fall from grace. When Kuma and Saturn met for the first time, Kuma said something very interesting. "I don't understand how someone can be born to be more or less important." That was the exact topic of the Feast of Fools. In chapter 1103, where Kuma, a lower class human, arrived at Egghead and punched Saturn, one of the Gorosei, was released on January 6th. The Feast of Fools, where higher and lower level class people would change places, was a fest on January 1st and lasted for 1 week. Do you see the similarity? It may just be a fortunate coincidence, but we are talking about Oda here, so I don't think it was merely by chance. Also, it's interesting that the word fool was used as a synonym for humble, as was common in the 11th century, rather than the modern use that treats it as another term for a clown or jester. Kuma is probably the most humble character in One Piece, so this can be taken as another parallel. The Feast of Fools is also considered a continuation of the ancient Roman Saturnalia, where masters would host for their slaves. Saturnalia is an ancient Roman festival and holiday in honor of the god Saturn. During this festival, masters provided table service for their slaves, as it was seen as a time of liberty for both slaves and free men alike. Similarly to the Feast of Fools, Saturnalia was characterized by role reversals. Slaves were treated to a banquet by the kind usually enjoyed by their masters. Saturnalian license also permitted slaves to disrespect their masters without the threat of punishment. It was a time for free speech. To sum things up, both festivals are connected to Egghead. The Festival of Fools is literally what's happening in this arc right now. Kuma, a slave, punched the highest ranked celestial dragon. Saturnalia is also a direct parallel to Saturn. After Saturn's death, the slaves and the fools will celebrate their victory. This will be the first major incident where lower class people will win against the higher class, and that's the event that will shock the whole world. Which fool will kill Saturn? There are a few options. The first option is Luffy, of course. He is the main character of One Piece after all, and he didn't do much in this arc. He had a clash with CP0 agents and Seraphims, which is not a big feat for one of the 4 emperors, and then had a small fight with Kizaru. We can't even call it a fight. Kizaru was trying to kill Vegapunk and Luffy was trying to protect him, but we know that Luffy does not kill people. Most likely he will do the most damage, but he won't be the one who will finish Saturn. The second most logical option is Kuma. This is Kuma's arc. We saw his flashback and we know that Saturn is the main villain in his story. Because of Saturn's experiments, Ginny died and Bonnie got sapphire scales, a deadly disease. Also, because of Saturn, Kuma lost his consciousness and became a slave. Kuma punching Saturn was very pleasing to see, but is that all? As far as Kuma is still alive, I believe there's more to this character and Saturn will receive the final blow from Kuma. Another option is Kizaru, but I don't think Kizaru will be the one who will kill Saturn. I still think that he will betray Saturn, but as I already mentioned, Kizaru's betrayal doesn't have to be a big move. A little change in Kizaru's actions will change a lot. And the last option is that every fool on Egghead will take part in defeating Saturn. We know that Vegapunk managed to cure Bonnie's disease, sapphire scales. Most likely he learned how to create this disease as well. What if Vegapunk infects Saturn with this disease and Kizaru with his devil fruit powers will light up everything and weaken Saturn? Kuma, even in his condition, will manage to kill Saturn. I think this will be the best revenge, to die by his own poison, but this is just my speculation. Don't forget the Blackbeard pirates. They're on Egghead too, and most likely they are the ones who destroyed a marine ship in this chapter. There are still a lot of mysteries about the Blackbeard pirates, so it's difficult to predict their main goal, but there are only a few things that they may want on Egghead. If you want to see all 4 possibilities, you can watch this video right here. Thanks for watching.